Here's what to know before seeing Coyote vs. Acme. Or actually, why you should see Coyote vs. Acme. Because as you might have heard, there is a bigger behind-the-scenes story when it comes to this movie. In the post-COVID era of Hollywood, after studios realized they weren't going to make the type of profits they hoped from the streaming boom, there have been all kinds of controversial cost-cutting measures. These kinds of actions on the studio's part were a big reason for the strikes in 2023. In 2022, Warner Brothers announced that they would cancel the release of two upcoming movies, Batgirl and Scoob: Holiday Haunt. The movies were already deep into production, with many sources saying Scoob was nearly finished. But Warner Brothers believed it would be a better financial decision to cancel their release and instead claim a loss using them as a tax write-off. At the time, Warner Media was merging with Discovery to form Warner Brothers Discovery. People weren't happy about these movies being shelved, but generally they assumed it was a one-time casualty of a corporate merger, rather than a new financial strategy for the studio. But the very next year, Warner Brothers announced they would do the same exact thing to Coyote vs. Acme. They would not release the film and claim a tax loss of $30 million. One big difference here is that Coyote vs. Acme was 100% a completed movie. Not only that, but it had already gone through test screenings and had received great scores from audiences.
Have you ever pulled the ripcord of your parachute and only a bunch of silverware comes out? It's not your fault.
According to reports, it tested in the same range as movies like Argo, which won Best Picture in 2012, the first two Deadpool movies, and the first Conjuring movie. It was reported that the director, Dave Green, and his crew had done everything that was asked of them. They had been on time, they had stayed on budget, and they delivered what was shaping up to be a crowd-pleasing movie.
Acme has knowingly been making dangerous products.
So when the cancellation happened, the studio received a lot of pushback. Phil Lord, the co-writer and director of this year's Project Hail Mary, said at the time, "Is it anti-competitive if one of the biggest movie studios in the world shuns the marketplace in order to use a tax loophole to write off an entire movie so they can more easily merge with one of the other biggest movie studios in the world? Because it seems anti-competitive." In the past, studios had put movies in vaults or canceled them mid-production, but to not release a movie at all, one that was fully completed and that was testing well, just for a marginal tax write-off, was not a common practice. And people feared that maybe it would be in this new era of Hollywood under this new kind of leadership. A congressman in Texas said the tactic of scrapping fully made films for tax breaks is predatory and anti-competitive. It's like burning down a building for the insurance money.
That is for you. All I gotta do is walk out the store right now.
Please don't.
After all that pushback, Warner Brothers said they would try to sell the movie to other studios, and most of them showed interest. But WB ended up rejecting bids from Netflix, Amazon, and Paramount because they didn't think they were high enough. Warner Brothers reportedly wanted at least $70 million because that's what it cost to make the movie. In 2025, Coyote vs. Acme was finally sold to Ketchup Entertainment, who had also distributed another recent Looney Tunes related movie produced by Warner Bros. And so Coyote vs. Acme is finally releasing, and it currently has a 96% Rotten Tomatoes score with 109 reviews. If you've watched my videos for a while, you may know how I feel about using Rotten Tomato scores to justify movie-going decisions, but 96% with over 100 reviews is a phenomenal critical reception. So what is the movie actually about? You might be familiar with the old Looney Tunes characters Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. The running gag between these two is that Coyote is always trying to catch the Roadrunner so he can eat him, but instead of hunting like a normal predator, Coyote comes up with elaborate plans to try and catch Roadrunner. And most of these plans involve him ordering products from the Acme Corporation. And as you might have guessed, the joke is that Coyote's schemes never work. Roadrunner always gets away easily because Coyote's plans blow up in his face. Sometimes literally because the Acme products don't really work. In 1990, a writer named Ian Fraser published a satirical article in The New Yorker called Coyote vs. Acme. The article reads like a court document where a lawyer representing Wile E. Coyote argues that the Acme Corporation owes Coyote compensation for personal injuries, loss of business income, and mental suffering. People had been trying to adapt the idea into a movie as early as 1998, but the form it finally took was a live-action animation hybrid. Some of the most famous movies in this category would be Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Space Jam, which also featured the Looney Tunes.
Oh, look out for that first step, Doc. It's a real Lulu.
There was also the recent Disney movie Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers.
And then smuggle him overseas to a black market studio, where he will spend the rest of his life being forced to make terrible bootleg movies.
This subgenre of movies tends to utilize absurdist humor because they take the slapstick tone of cartoons, but ground them in the rules of our real world.
Hey, Comfort, son, you're not the first man whose wife baked patty cake on him.
Not my Jessica, not patty cake.
And I can't imagine a better premise to apply those ideas than a courtroom drama in which a cartoon character is filing a lawsuit for all the damage that's been caused to him as a cartoon.
Guys, you ready to show what you got?
But because of the whole situation with how this movie almost never got released, there's an added bit of irony to the story. In an article they wrote, writers Aaron Couch and James Hibbard said, "The plot of Coyote vs. Acme follows the speechless, ever-determined Wile E. Coyote as he teams up with a lawyer to fight the big Acme corporation. The movie is the story of an underdog taking on a heartless company whose executives don't realize there can be real consequences to making their products blow up in your face."
The guy who is taking on the biggest corporation in the world.
They're suing us for every Acme product.
So, are you excited to see Coyote vs. Acme? Let me know what you think.